Level 1, the recruit. You're 19. You didn't grow up dreaming of tactical gear or armored vehicles. You grew up wanting stability, something predictable. The application is grueling. Background checks, interviews, a physical assessment that leaves your legs shaking. You pass anyway. Day 1, they shave your individuality down to routine. Wake up at 5 a.m., run, drill, repeat. No questions asked. The instructors don't yell for nothing. They yell to see who folds. You don't fold. Not out loud. Training lasts 10 weeks. Room clearing, weapon handling, communication signals, breaching basics. You practice moving as a unit until your body forgets how to move alone. One night, a recruit named Alvarez whispers, "Feels less like learning, more like rewiring." You don't answer. It lingers. Week 8, stress drills. Loud noises, flashing lights, conflicting orders. Instinct says pause. Training says act. You act. Week 10, you get your gear. Heavy, uncompromising. No celebration. Just a nod. Assignment follows. Monday. Level 2, the operator. You're 22. Your first real deployment is not what the movies prepared you for. No spotlights, no slow motion. Just a warrant service at 4 a.m. on a quiet street with the lights off. You stack at the door in the dark. Your heartbeat is loud in your own ears. The signal comes. You move. Inside, a man is detained without incident. It's over in under 4 minutes. You drive back in silence. You don't know what you expected. Something larger, maybe. Over the next 2 years, you work through the full spectrum. Hostage situations, armed suspects barricaded in apartments and warehouses, crisis calls that have been escalating for hours before your team arrives. Most end quietly. Some don't. You learn to read silence. The difference between a room that is empty and a room that is waiting. A door left slightly open. A shadow without a source. You stop processing in moments. You start processing in patterns. Your team trusts you. Trust is the only currency that actually matters here. Efficiency gets noticed, but trust keeps people alive. Level 3, the senior operator. You're 26. You don't have to announce yourself anymore. The newer recruits watch the way you move, the way you position, the way you wait. A new operator named Cruz. Fast, sharp, impatient in the way gifted people sometimes are, because slowness has never cost them anything yet. During a debrief, Cruz asks why you held before entry. Timing is everything. He argues speed is survival. You don't argue back. 3 weeks later, a similar call. Cruz goes early. The situation inside has shifted in a way the intelligence didn't reflect. He freezes for half a second. In this work, half a second is a biography. It ends clean only because of the positioning you'd already set. Afterward, he doesn't ask questions. He just nods. You accept that as enough. You begin leading small elements, room assignments, entry sequencing, quick decisions in corridors where there is no time for committees. Responsibility and ego cannot occupy the same space. One of them has to go. You already know which one. Level 4, the team leader. You're 30, 8 operators, 8 different instincts, 8 different thresholds, 8 different definitions of the word ready. Your job is not to be the best operator on the team. Your job is to make them function better as a single thing than they ever could as 8 separate ones. You plan operations, entry points, contingencies, exit routing, casualty protocols. You brief clearly. No wasted words. Before every briefing, you walk through it alone in your head. You find the gaps before the situation does. During a high-risk warrant, the suspect moves in a way the intelligence didn't predict. Your team looks to you, not in panic but in readiness. You adjust without raising your voice. They execute. No injuries. Clean extraction. The commander's praise is brief. You nod. That night you run it again in your head, not to relive what went right, but to find the seam where it almost didn't. You find it. You close that seam before it can cost you anything. Level 5, the lieutenant. You're 34. Behind the line now. Coordinating teams, managing information flow, watching feeds while radios crackle with voices you've taught yourself to parse simultaneously. The bigger picture is messier than the ground level ever prepared you for. Decisions here aren't purely tactical. They are legal, political, operational, and public all at once. You sit in rooms with people who have never worn the gear, but who decide how it gets used. New vocabulary, liability, optics, proportional response, clean words in a conference room. They land differently at 2 a.m. when a team is staged and waiting. During a major operation, one element advances before the signal. You call them back. Hold your position. I say again, hold. It de-escalates. No injuries. The element commander files a complaint. There's a review, nothing formal results. But you understand something not in any training manual. Being right in the field and being right in the building are two different problems. You have to be prepared to solve both. Level 6, the captain. You're 38. Multiple units, training standards, equipment approvals. Paperwork has replaced adrenaline, but the weight hasn't gone anywhere. It's just changed shape. A pattern emerges across incident reports. 3 calls in 4 months. Different locations, different teams, same complaint. Actions that don't match the footage. Nothing catastrophic. But the kind of quiet inconsistency that compounds into something unmanageable if left alone. You initiate internal reviews. A veteran commander pushes back hard. He's been in this department longer than some of your officers have been alive. You let the data make the argument. Minor corrections are issued. Some hold, some don't. You sit longer at your desk in the evenings, not because there's more to do, because some of what you signed today required you to believe something you're not entirely sure you believe. You remember being 19, certain you'd never let the institution decide for you. You were right then. It didn't make decisions for you. It just slowly changed which decisions were yours to make. Level 7, the commander. You're 42. Hundreds of officers, dozens of units. You don't think in individuals anymore. You think in systems. Failure points that only become visible when you pull the data back far enough to see the shape. A large-scale operation becomes a public event. Every movement scrutinized in real time. You delay entry by 11 minutes. It prevents escalation. No serious injuries. Internally, too cautious, too slow. Externally, measured, professional. Both responses are about the same 11 minutes. Neither is entirely wrong. Success here is not a fixed target. It moves depending on who's defining it, and it is never fully yours to control. Level 8, the deputy chief. You're 46. The battlefield is policy. You commission an independent analysis on de-escalation frameworks. The findings are clear. Less confrontational entry protocols, more communication-based intervention earlier in calls, fewer injuries on both sides. You push a pilot program through despite resistance. 4 units, 18 months. Positive results across every metric. You present them to the chief. He listens. He tells you the timing isn't right. Political cycle. Reform reads as weakness. The program is quietly shelved. You write a memo, recommendation, results, response. You file it where it won't disappear. In this building, the things that protect you aren't weapons. They're paper trails. Level 9, the chief. You're 50. Your name is on the door. A communications team, a direct line to the mayor's office. Every decision made by every unit traces back to your name on the organizational chart. A single incident escalates into a national conversation. Your department becomes a reference point in editorials, speeches, panel discussions in cities you've never worked in. You testify. You speak carefully. You always speak carefully now. Privately, you sit with the footage. You run it back. You look at the decision chain, where it started, where it diverged, what should have been caught. Publicly, the protocol held. Privately, you question whether protocol was ever the right question to begin with. You restructure the authorization chain. Some read it as leadership. Some read it as self-protection. You've been here long enough to know both are probably correct, and being uncomfortable with that is something you manage privately. Sleep is short. The clarity you had at 22 is gone. What replaced it isn't cynicism. It's the weight of every decision you ever made and the growing understanding that you can never fully audit all of them. Level 10, the observer. You're 60, consulting now. Think tanks, university panels, government working groups that need operational credibility in the room. You are invited because of what you know. You are invited back less frequently because of how honestly you say it. You watch your former department on the news, a new deployment, a new statement using language you recognize. You wrote a version of that statement yourself once. You know exactly what it's designed to say and what it's designed to avoid. You're asked onto a panel about reform. You accept. You say the things you couldn't say from behind a desk with your name on the door. That protocol is not the same as ethics. That accountability with structural change is theater. That the hardest part in that uniform isn't the danger. It's the silence you're asked to maintain, and how gradually you learn to mistake that silence for professionalism. The moderator moves quickly to the next question. The clip circulates anyway. 3 calls that week. 2 from former operators who say thank you in the brief way people in this work say the things that matter most. One from a current official who strongly advises you to be more measured. You think about Alvarez, who said it felt like rewiring and was more right than either of you knew. You think about Cruz, who had to freeze once to finally understand what waiting was for. You think about every call that ended quietly and every one that didn't. You think about the people on the other side of every door. Whether you thought about them enough, at enough of the right moments, across all of those years. You were never just climbing ranks. You were being tested, level by level, on what you were willing to carry and what you were willing to set down, on how much of yourself you were prepared to trade for the next door, the next title, the next room where the decisions got made. And the hardest truth, the one nobody includes in the graduation remarks, is this: the institution never remembers. Only you do.